Oh, hi. Hello, fellow people. Here's Galneryus guy with another episode of Galneryus. Today we're officially entering the post-music video phase of the album, not that it would mean anything. The song is Against the Domination. I would assume something a bit more aggressive than last week. Maybe I'm also hoping a little bit for that. Oh! Yeah, well, I think that was rather a kind of victory sound. Also interesting to me, in a way, it sounds like it was at the end of something, right? You fight against something, you win, and this is kind of the victory sound which comes at the end. But well, they thought, let's just start the song like this. A bit playfulness here as well. Good old times. This feels in quite many ways a bit like a throwback. I'm thinking mostly of Beyond the End of Despair, where Yamabi kind of has reached his high point. Not that he hasn't improved since then, but I think that was the first time where I really thought, yeah man, that's the style he has found there. This suits him actually very well. And also Shu is very active here. Like, we don't have these like very plain, always repeated riffs just in the background. He's like constantly, fluidly moving through different ideas and licks and stuff. And very smoothly Yuki's joining in here. We have this bit of whirlwind sound again here. Oh, that slaps. A little opening up here with the arpeggio. Cool transition. A bit of metalcore. Woo! Yo, that was really nice. Dude, did you hear that transition from the solo to this like starting lead melody? That was right. It was so freaking smooth. Also, the melodies add up really well to one another. I especially noticed this in the chorus. The chorus melody was such an easy extension to the verse melody pretty much. Yeah, just when we're talking about the transitions, right before the chorus, that was also really cool. It reminded me a bit of Silent Revelation and stuff, and probably like Struggle for the Freedom Flag and some others as well. Like, there were these really cool mood switches. We have this lighted up, slower mood, then just out of nowhere the double pedals join, and then we have this a bit of more nasty thing, and then we have a bit more of an uplifting side of things in the chorus melody. That's just such a cool journey they put you in there. Yeah, but I guess let's just continue. The choir is also like something rising up, right? Dude, I love double pedals, man. And they also switch up the riffage in the background. It's not the same. Like from the first verse, I mean. To hear the organ. Here's the chord thing again. Yo, that's sick. And again. And it ends on the minor, right? Not that it would be anything new in this type of neoclassical music, but they could have ended on something like more satisfying, right? But it's minor, with a bit of tension, I guess. Just like really nice soundscapes. I really like the keyboard, the little keyboard section there, which transitioned then into the guitar. Like the final guitar solo was also a really nice closure for this song. The thing I called metalcore part because I think it's the thing they do in core music, right? I was just a tad irritated when I heard it in the first chorus because it took out the speed. But here, maybe they made a longer chorus or whatever, but like after this hectic journey through the solo and everything that happened, right? In the last chorus, it was actually really fitting that they made this full speed chorus and then ended off with this halftime slower section, which then prepared for the like ending of the song. Oh yeah, like Yuki plays here the violins and stuff in the background. That just adds a lot of depth and stuff to it. And just what I mentioned before, at the very beginning of the chorus, he also played a little melody with the organ in the background. Right? This sounds really nice. So, and as usually, we're ending off with a lot of praise for Yuki. Just that little keyboard section again. I need that right now. And in the combination with the drums, it's so cool. You also hear the bass here, that's also cool. Yeah, I really like the little grim element we have in this ending. Down to little details like what I mentioned, the bass. We hear like in the very last part of the song, we just hear the bass a little bit more audibly. This just adds such a nice atmosphere that it's like very selectively picked what's in the focus and how much and everything. Yeah. And this was just another banger. I cannot say anything else, honestly. And now, of course, what's left are the lyrics. What I actually wanted to look first, because I have just a very little suspicion that this song was not written by Shu, but by... Wait a second, where is it? Who wrote? Yeah, it's written by Yamavi. I got heavy vibes from, for example, Raid Again, and like some other songs. Just something about this really had a similar aura than Raid Again had, which is a song I really enjoyed, especially like afterwards, after the reaction, because it has, I think, one of the most powerful performances so far from Yamabi, and this is like just another one where it's really fun to listen to the vocals actually. Okay, and now to the lyrics. You're lying on the low against the dark, you must see what you want, take the lust for your life, you'll hear the sound, it's the period of meditation, raise your hand for the unity of steel. Okay, so you're relying on something lower. In Advance to the Fall we had a theme introduced of releasing the inner animalistic drive. That's at least how I interpreted it, something along the lines of that. That might just be the thing here. Like over this journey, one thing that has been gained was a sort of power to stand against the ground of the dark forces, right? You constantly have to fight, because that's this like eternal battle theme they have here. And essentially you have developed this sort of autopilot which fights against the dark. That's at least like what it sounds like to me, right? And now you have a bit of room and headspace to delve into new stuff, right? You can explore new heights, essentially, because you can rely on the low to fight against the dark. You must see what you want. Take the lust for your life. See what you want, right? Because before it was always formulated in a way that, well, there is something in the world and I have to find it because like I'm lacking that, I have to find that, and it's somewhere, right? But I think what's a new idea here is that you're supposed to look yourself for what you want specifically, right? That's a new sort of empowerment in that regard. It's a period of meditation. Raise your hand for the unity of steel. Yeah, this is like a very early Galneryus theme. Unity as well as steel. I think like the steel metaphor was like one of the earliest things we've heard in the lyrics in general. And also this unity thing. The first album closes off with a song called United Flag. This is like just the very first thing they do. And this might be a sort of reincarnation of these beginnings with the new powers which had been gained or something. It's a period of meditation, well, a period of looking into yourself and like finding stuff that still has to be resolved in a way, I guess. I don't know. You'll regain sanity. Walk on the road to madness of fanatics. Take the lust for your life. Unify your mind. It's the period of meditation. Don't give up until you catch the truth. This is also very clear and reinforcing, I guess. Don't give up until you catch the truth with your like inner journey and meditation. You're ready now to not just look for betterment, but for like figuring out what actually the truth is. You'll regain sanity, unify your mind. So there was a certain fracture happen. I think that was a theme we had throughout like preceding songs, right? I don't quite remember, but I think that at least there was a sort of theme of inner turmoil and chaos and stuff that we had for sure, but I don't know if there was really something like fragmented stuff maybe. But here we're on the journey to unify your mind again. I would think this is the chorus. A major phase in your life is over and you're entertaining another phase. It's your destiny. You've got to look at the other side. Yeah, that's the chorus. You will hear the call of cruel fate. There's no limit and there's no choice. They're really structuring here. What's behind us is like one phase and that's over, and this is like a new phase. So new beginning. It has certain elements of the first beginning, but of course it also includes a lot of elements which have emerged since then. I also like the emphasis here. There's no limit and there's no choice. There's no limit upwards, I would think, but there's also no choice. You have to go this way upward. Fight against the world that banishes you. You must see what you want. Take the lust for your life. You'll hear the sound. It's the period of meditation. Raise your hand for the unity of steel. That was a theme in the preceding song, the world that banishes you. You know, it's postulated, yeah, like you must see what you want. It's again this thing. It doesn't matter so much what others want from you. It's like the most important thing is what you want, and you have to find that. Take the lust for your life. You'll hear the sound. If you listen closely enough, you kind of start to see, or in this case, you start to hear where it takes you. Yeah, and raise your hand for the unity of steel. Again, where you struggle for the freedom flaggy. A major phase in your life is over, and you're entering another phase. It's your destiny. You've got to look at the other side. You will hear the call of cruel fate. There is no limit. Yeah, this is the other chorus where then in the second half, I think the halftime started. A major phase in your life is over, and you're entering another phase. It's your destiny. You've got to look at the other side. You will hear the call of cruel fate. There's no limit, and there's no choice. And it ends with, and there's no choice. Here is no, there's no limit. Right? And here, there's no choice. So the last line, the way the song ends, is not so much about the possibility. And this might be also like the minor thing. Why it ends on minor. We have this closure. Yeah, there's no limit. This is kind of positive, right? And there's no choice. This is a bit ambivalent. It's not bad per se, because I think it's good that you have a new path to go down, right? But there is no choice. Like, even if you didn't want to go there, you would have to do that. So this is the little bittersweet thing in the end. It's cool that this is the last line in that regard. So yeah, I don't know if written by Yamabi also means that the lyrics were written by him. I mean, if you know more about that, you can tell me perhaps. That would be interesting. That was today's episode. I hope you had just a little bit of fun at least. I'm very confident that the next song will be just as nice. It doesn't at all sound like a reference to anything